All right, welcome back. Been a little bit since my last video. Um, yeah, as always, the first one is always a little bit awkward for me before I get back into the routine of doing them weekly. But it's been about a month since my last video, which was Cape Point Challenge, just the end of that. Took about a month off, didn't really know what I wanted to do this year. Anyway, finally started thinking about it again, and recently, as the title of this video will eventually say, is this is the road to SA Lifesaving Champs 2022. This is the first time I've done Lifesaving Champs in probably around 3 years now. I used to do quite a bit of lifesaving, the sport, which is different from lifeguarding, which is the volunteer activity we do with our time. Not a lot of people know what lifesaving the sport is. It's basically a collection of rescue-like events. We race specialized versions of what a rescue craft is around Cairns. There's swims and stuff like that. Lifesaving was a big part of my childhood. It helped me through a lot of stuff in my life. I forgot how much I loved it, but recently going back down to the beach, I've just been reminded of how much I absolutely love the sport and everything it has to offer. So over the course of the coming weeks, I'll break down the different events and the different things that we're going to do. But this is just an introduction video into the plan. So this is going to be the road to SA Lifesaving Champs, which is in 8 weeks, which is shorter than maybe I probably should have started training in Jan, but I just didn't have it in me. So we're training now. I'm really going to use the best part of the 8 weeks we have. I'm still relatively fit. I say relatively, like my body still can remember training and stuff like that from Cape Point, but I'm not necessarily lifesaving fit, so it's still going to be quite interesting. Lifesaving is a much shorter version than Cape Point, for instance. I was training to do a 4 to 5 hour race. Now I'm training to do 3 days of like 5-minute events, but there's heats and stuff like that, so it's a bigger thing. But I'll definitely talk about lifesaving, the sport, as we get into it a little bit more. But why do I like lifesaving so much? Why do I enjoy the sport? Just a brief overview is that I think lifesaving offers us, or at least athletes, a very interesting race. It's incredibly unpredictable. It's so much comes down to skill and fitness, but so much comes down to conditions. So much comes down to split decisions in the moment. And as someone who used to do track, I used to run 100 meters. I always found it incredibly boring. I loved the race, but it was almost as if there wasn't enough. There wasn't a challenge in it, you know. And while I like rugby and I like team sports and I do enjoy those things, I don't really want to be injured. So it became just like lifesaving and the beach and all that kind of stuff. So it's the unpredictability. It's the type of fitness you have to be. It's the environment, and it's really the people. So I really enjoy it for those reasons, but I'm excited to kind of, what I really want this to be is to actually showcase lifesaving a little bit. I feel like it's a sport that kind of flies under the radar a lot of the time, and it's overshadowed by other sports, like for instance swimming, very big, but I think lifesaving is so much more fun and it incorporates a bit of swimming. And I don't think I have enough time to go through all of the events, but I'd love to spend some time actually doing that one time. And so when and where is Lifesaving SA Champs? So it's in 8 weeks time, on the 24th of March to the 26th, 27th. So it's a 3-day event. And it's going to be in PE. PE is probably the best place to have it, although it is the more boring place to have it. It used to be the case that Lifesaving, the SA Champs, would rotate quite a bit. I'm not too sure why it's not happening now. I think there's a lot of just organizational, logistical reasons why we're keeping it to PE, or Lifesaving South Africa has made their decision. But means basically a very, very standard round the can race. So I'm going to be training to do basically a flat water 600 meter sprint in all the different events. And then that's gonna play into how I'm going to train leading up to it, utilizing a little bit more of Muizenberg, training a lot more on like sand bottom beaches, like Fishhook, but I really want to get it, go through the surf because I think that's just better training. But again, we'll chat about that. Goals. As a kid, I used to specialize in board and sprints. So my goal now, since this is going to be my first season competing in Open, I missed my last under 19 year for just wasn't in this place in my life where I could do it. And then the last 2 years has been COVID, so there hasn't been an SA Champs, or maybe there was an SA Champs. For whatever reason, I've missed the last 3. And so this is going to be my first season competing open. So on 8 weeks to compete open against the much older guys, it's going to be interesting. So I don't really have massive expectations. Really deep down, I think I'm going just for the gears. My club's been through a little bit of a metamorphosis with regards to generations coming and going, and it's now really on the shoulders of like my group of mates. We're now 22, older 20s, and we're like, there's now under 15s coming in, so it's kind of like on us to kind of create the vibe. And so I'm excited to really do that, and I think that's going to be the focus. But of course I want to do it well, and I want to showcase Lifesaving. So this is going to be a little more of a passion project and a hobby for me. So the goal is really to come top 5 board, top 5 sprints, not necessarily chasing a medal. A medal would be lovely, and obviously when I get on the line, I'm going to race my heart out. But if I feel like if I come top 5, I'll be phenomenally stoked. If I medal, I will be through the roof. But really, if I just make the final in sprints, especially sprints, I'll be stoked. I'm fairly confident I can make the final on board. Depends how many seniors actually get down. I don't think there's going to be that many. So I'm fairly confident I can make the final for board, but it's just the top 5 would be phenomenal, especially knowing that really that the top 10, there's like 10 open lifeguards that are just, or life-saving athletes that are just phenomenal athletes roundabout. So I know that there's always going to be that kind of top race. So I'm excited to see. I've been out of the game, kind of see where everything's at. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. So it's going to be great. So that's my goals. And then what is my training plan? So let me quickly open up my spreadsheet. So the training plan is I want to train like 6 days a week. The nice thing about Lifesaving, instead of for what was happening with Cape Point, I was focusing on the longer sessions. Like trying to do 2.5 hours, 3 hours of training, which wore me down quite a bit. Really, the nature of Lifesaving is much more sprint, which is much more where I'm more comfortable. And so I'm going to really be focusing on specifically sprints, specifically sprints and shorter training sessions. So 45 minutes an hour max. I'm going to be trying to do twice a day, but lots of rest in between intervals and that kind of thing. So overall, where's my notes? Okay, overall my training plan is, so I'm going to do Monday is going to be a morning swim. So this morning I swam. This afternoon I did a board session. Tuesday is going to be focusing on sprints and strength work. So probably a sprint session in the morning in sand. Hopefully maybe some hills, focusing on basically 60 to 150 meter sprints, sometimes up to 200 if I'm feeling spicy. Just really maybe like 6 to 10 of those, and like a 2 kilometer run with some leg strength work and some flexibility and that kind of thing. So make sure I don't get injured, make sure I can still do the fast twitch things. So then Tuesday morning we sprints, Tuesday afternoon a little bit of gym, kind of again working on the strength. Wednesday morning swim morning, and then Wednesday afternoon do another board session. And then swimming, I never really want to swim over 2.5 Ks. I'm not a swimmer, I've never been a swimmer, that's just not what I am. But swimming gives you a phenomenal fitness, a cardiovascular fitness, like through hypoxic training. So a lot of breath work, a lot of holding my breath, because the transition, and Ironman is always an event I aspire to. I'm not really putting it on my goal list because in 8 weeks I'm a little bit nervous. But Ironman is always an event I aspire to, because it's kind of the pinnacle of everything combined. And that going from a running into the water and then trying to like swim, it's a very high level of fitness, and I really enjoy doing that. So that's what I'm going to focus on with swim. And then board, again keeping it to 600 meter paddles at max. A lot of the guys are doing longer paddles, but practically in 8 weeks it's not going to matter if I can paddle a K if I can only paddle 500 meters at like 30%. So I'm really going to be focusing on that strength. And then Thursday sprints and gym again. Friday a beach session focusing on sand work. I really want to get down to the beach, do some flags, do some sprints in sand, get the calves kind of in line with the thing. And then Friday afternoon probably do a sea dog. Saturday I'll take off. And then Sunday I want to do an Ironman, series of Ironman, which will just be kind of get my ski training in, because practically I really don't want to train ski. Listen, did ski for a while, don't feel like doing it again, so I'll just dabble in a bit of ski, focusing on transition, focusing on that base level fitness. And I think in 8 weeks it's going to put me in good stead. I think I'll be a good 75 to 85% fitness The goal would obviously be between the 80s and 90s in a percentile of fitness, and then and really go smash it. I've got a few little goals I still need to work out with regards what would I measure each of the different events in with regards to how fit I feel like for them. But practically, really the goal is just not get sick. It would be detrimental if I have to take 2 weeks out of an 8-week training program, take me down to 2 weeks. It means I only have 6 weeks, so if I'm training this week, sick the next, I'm only got 3 weeks or 5 weeks for SHMs. It's just not going to be enough to really race if I want to be. So starting slow, really listening to my body, it's going to be very important. But I must say I'm phenomenally excited, and I really want to use this more to showcase Lifesaving, which I don't think I really did with the Road to Cape Point. This is going to be Road to SHMs. I really want to showcase the training, the crew, building the team. You know, it's such a team event, such a fierce thing, and I'd love to say we're actually going away on Mossel Bay this weekend for Cape Champs, which will be interesting. So I'm hoping that through all of my YouTube phenomenal cinematography skills that I clearly, as my avid viewer, you know about, I'm gonna try and learn to like edit and make something cool, and it's fun for me. So yeah, so listen, if you're keen to watch, if you saw the Cape Point one and like to follow along. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of record this road to SA Champs, and this is really a sport that I absolutely love. So I'm hoping to showcase it in an entertaining and informative way. So yeah, fantastic. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below, whatever. But have a good day, week here in life, and I'll check you next week with a bit more information. Cheers.